Taiwan is a major global shipping hub with 7 international commercial ports. Taiwan's current stage of development and the conveniences of our modern life are inextricably linked to the construction and development of our ports, the evolution of their operation, and the maritime industry as a whole. Back in 1624, the Dutch East India Company saw the value of Taiwan for shipping in Southeast Asia and chose Taiyuan to serve as a trading base. With the building of Fort Zeelandia and Taiwan's first port, Taiwan entered the stage of international trade. In 1626, the Spanish, also seeking trade, came to northern Taiwan, where they built a castle near Keelung and a port in Hualien. This opened up northern Taiwan's gateway to the world. In 1895, at the end of the Sino-Japanese War, the Qing court signed the Treaty of Shimonoseki with Japan, ceding sovereignty of Taiwan to Japan. Japan turned Taiwan into a colony, extracting agricultural, forestry, fishing, mining, and other resources, and sending them to Japan or other countries. To effectively extract these resources, ports, docks, and railways became vital infrastructure. Between 1899 and 1944, Japan launched 5 projects at Keelung Port. The 5th remained incomplete, owing to the outbreak of World War II.
基隆港其实是日本政府取得台湾以后，他毫不犹豫就是要进行主管工程的一个海港。 第一个一定要把所谓的花边就是码头的意思一定要把我们现在熟悉的那个码头一定要做出来。第二个就是一定要铺铁路，所以清代就有了，只是日本人又把它修改，它的位置跟路线，再来就是仓库，以及市街区。
While the port of Keelung was being modernized, in Kaohsiung, at the railway's southmost tip, port construction was also in full swing. From 1904 to 1907, Japan carried out the Takao Bay Improvement Project, further dredging the bay and reclaiming land, including the area around today's Chianguang Road and Gushan First Road and areas around Binhai Road. Later on, as export demand increased, Japanese confidence in the Kaohsiung development grew. Between 1908 and 1937, 2 port construction projects were carried out. The first involved clearing the reefs, widening the channel, and increasing its depth to 7 to 9 meters. 2 reclaimed land sites were filled in at Shinhama-cho and Minato-cho, today's South Gushan area. With its proximity to the coast, the railway was called the Coastal Line, or Hama-san in Japanese. Locals called the surrounding area Hamashin. The second project involved dredging the bay and filling nearby salt fields to reclaim land. This would become today's Yancheng district. These improvements increased trade volume at the port and shaped its growth from colonial times onward. But at the port of Anping, the rise of the port of Kaohsiung, together with Anping's siltation problems, meant larger ships had to keep away. But the dense population in Anping maintained steady demand for goods. To meet this demand, the Japanese built the Tainan Canal. A port was also built at the estuary, which became today's Anping fishing harbor. When goods arrived in port, they went directly through the canal to town. In 1931, the Suao to Hualien road was completed. Early on, vehicles couldn't use these roads, and cargo was mainly transported by sea. Large ships dropped anchor in open sea, and smaller boats ferried cargo to land, which was extremely inefficient. Japanese official Ryoza Boro Eguchi, together with his successor Matsunosuke Inomata, finally persuaded the Japanese Diet to build a new port at Hualien. Construction began that same year. In 8 years, 3 docks were built to accommodate 3,000-ton cargo ships. In order to meet economic and military needs, in 1938 the Japanese government chose Wuchi for a new port construction project, named the Niitaka Port in 1939. A groundbreaking ceremony took place on September 25, 1939. In 1944, the progress of World War II brought the project to an end. In 1941, the Pacific War broke out, and Allied forces carried out bombing raids on Taiwan's infrastructure. Port facilities did not escape the destruction. In 1945, Japan announced its unconditional surrender, and the nationalist government took over Taiwan. Various areas in Taiwan had been devastated by bombing. Filled with countless wrecked ships, the ports were completely unusable. When the nationalist government took over in 1945, they set up the Keelung Port Authority in November, and the Kaohsiung Port Authority in December. Between 5 and 10 years were spent salvaging wrecked ships and rebuilding ports. What followed was port expansion. The port of Kaohsiung saw a 12-year expansion project from 1958 to 1970. This mainly involved dredging the main and branch channels and building reclaimed land on either side. On these areas were built the Central Island Export Processing Zone, Container Terminal 2 and 3, and sites used by CPC Corporation, Thai Power Company, CSC, CSBC Corporation, and others. For the port of Suao, in July 1965, local economic growth demanded a small commercial port in the north of Nanfang-ao. Construction was completed in June 1973. 3 shallow water docks were built, each handling 3,000-ton vessels. The Suao Port Administrative Office also opened under the management of the Keelung Port Authority. As the fishing industry quickly expanded, the port of Suao was expanded into an international port, and in 1984 it was transferred to Yilan County government for use by the fishing industry. With rising freight volumes, the port of Hualien underwent 4 expansions between 1959 and 1991. On September 1, 1963, it became an international commercial port, and Hualien Port Authority was established. With further expansion of the outer port area, cargo ships of 30,000 to 100,000 tons could access the port to load and unload at the various docks, supporting eastern business growth. On May 18, 1967, the first general cargo container ship reached Kaohsiung, marking Taiwan's entry into the container shipping era. To enable large container ships to unload in port, the port channels and docks had to be dredged deeper. The wharf had to accommodate large cranes, and there had to be sufficient hinterland to store large numbers of containers. Between 1970 and 1996, the port of Kaohsiung opened container terminals 1 to 5. Between 1967 and 1975, a second harbor entrance was built to receive larger container vessels. To link Qijin and Tianzhen, a cross-harbor tunnel was built for the passage of goods and personnel. These new facilities helped Kaohsiung to become the world's 3rd largest port for container throughput, behind only Hong Kong and Singapore. Between 1972 and 1988, the port of Keelung opened container terminals 1 to 3. By 1984, it had become the world's 7th busiest container port. Later on, rapid growth in container volume and years of heavy traffic on West Coast elevated highway strained the port's capacity. This led to the East-West Coastal Road development. The East Dock was also reconstructed and dredged deeper to enable large ships to berth. Between 2007 and 2009, West Dock 19's ship repair yard relocated, making way for new container storage. This expanded the West Dock's capacity and shaped Keelung's modern port infrastructure.
那到60年代的时候啊，那个时候我们的圣诞节啊，大概什么东西要出去啊，满山满谷，所以那个时候基隆港等于爆满了，所以才会有10大建设嘛。10大建设就台中跟苏澳。
In 1969, the port of Taichung was approved as a multifunction port for trade, industry, and fishing. The site was originally a flat, sandy beach, with no wind breaks. Wind protection and dredging posed major construction challenges. Construction took place in 3 phases. Phase 1 built the commercial port area, including breakwaters, docks, and container yards. The port opened on October 31, 1976. Phase 2 developed the industrial zone. The Taichung power plant was completed. Seals were built, channels were dredged, and docks and grain silos were added. Phase 3 deepened channels, extended the north breakwater, and added 16 deep water docks to the commercial zone. This marks Taiwan's first self-built international port. It serves central Taiwan by handling cargo, fuel, and goods. It is also used as a passenger and tourist port, and a base for port-related industry and commerce. Its proximity to the wind farm and its infrastructure have made it Taiwan's offshore wind power hub. In 1973, the port of Suao gained international port status. Earth was moved from north of Nanfangao and used for land reclamation. About 10,000 tons of earth were transported daily. The port of Suao was expanded for global commerce. It became an auxiliary to the port of Keelung, while also boosting Yilan's industrial growth. The port has since grown more sustainable. Its logistics systems became more advanced, and tourism bloomed along its waterfront. After the 10 major construction projects ended, Taiwan's ports have continued to expand. Anping's new port construction began in 1974 and concluded in 1979. The government made it a domestic port. In 1981, construction began on docks 5 to 7. In 1997, it became an auxiliary to the port of Kaohsiung and upgraded to international commercial port. To accommodate large vessels, in 2002 the old South Breakwater was extended, the new North Breakwater widened, and the turning basin deepened. In 2012, aligning with port needs and urban development plans, the port of Anping began to focus on tourism in the north and a free trade zone in the south. The 6-year National Construction Plan was launched in 1993. To supply northern Taiwan's construction materials, 2 docks were planned at the Dan Shui River estuary to receive shipments from the east. This led to the establishment of the port of Taipei. Operations began in 1997. In 1999, Port of Dan Shui underwent major planning for its future development. Phase 2's first 5-year plan began, and the Port of Dan Shui was renamed the Port of Taipei. In 2004, it became an international port, serving as an auxiliary to the Port of Keelung. Now northern Taiwan's largest container port, the port of Taipei is vital for global logistics networks. The port continues expanding through land reclamation and brings together container, bulk, and auto shipping. With logistics and wind power operations. Container Terminal 6 opened in September 2014 within the port of Kaohsiung's Intercontinental Container Terminal Area 1. Container Terminal 7 is located in Area 2 of the terminal and began operations on May 1, 2023. The reclamation work for Area 2 is now finished. The site currently hosts multiple operations, petrochemical storage and transport facilities, gravel and cement handling systems. Ports serve both cargo transport and passenger travel. Taiwan's ports connect international and domestic routes. In the Japanese colonial period, the port of Keelung's West Dock served dual cargo passenger purposes. With rising number of passengers, a two-story structure and passenger access bridge were built, making it Taiwan's first dedicated passenger terminal. In 1969, at Keelung's East 2 Dock a passenger terminal was built, serving mostly the passenger cargo ship traveling to and from Okinawa. Solo merchants trading foreign goods dominated these voyages. With the rise of cruise tourism, Taiwan became a major cruise hub in Asia. In 2021, the port of Keelung upgraded its East passenger terminal and renovated its historical warehouses at West 2 and 3 docks into contemporary buildings, designed to accommodate large cruise ships. To enhance the passenger travel experience, the port of Kaohsiung built a new Kaohsiung Port Cruise Terminal on Dock 20, which opened in 2023. It can serve 2 large cruise ships at once, and is a key landmark in the Asia New Bay Area. In line with government tourism policy, Taiwan's ports continue to modernize their facilities. Upgrading infrastructure and facilities, and creating comfortable and convenient travel experiences, leading Taiwan into a new era of travel while embracing global visitors. Looking back over all these developments, we see dedication to port modernization everywhere. With infrastructure improvements, working processes must advance in parallel. This will secure Taiwan's role as a pivotal international shipping hub. Once a ship arrives at the port and docks, the next step is cargo handling. Handling methods vary according to cargo type. In maritime shipping, cargo is divided into bulk, break bulk, and container. Cargo handling has also changed over time. In the late Qing dynasty, Da Dao Cheng Wharf along the Dan Sui River bustled with the activity of large-scale tea exports. With limited technology back then, workers packed cargo into bundles and moved everything by hand. During the Japanese colonial period, modern ports were constructed to accommodate larger ships. Warehouses lined the docks, and railways extended to the docks. Workers carried cargo to the ship's side, where deck cranes hoisted them on board. Port operations evolved gradually from pure manpower to mechanical assistance. The port of Kaohsiung pioneered change with its shore-based lifting equipment. At West 2 and 3 docks in 1919, ships lined up for cargo work. Near the first-generation warehouses, rail-mounted electric cranes can also be seen in use along the dock. At the port of Hualien, similar cranes lifted timber, which greatly increased handling efficiency. When the wartime damage of 1945 was finally repaired, dock workers returned to their jobs. While manual labor continued, workers and animals teamed up for cargo handling until pallet carts replaced animal power.
码头工人在人力时代啊，他只要带几件东西，第一个带一条毛巾，第二条带一个叉子，所以他只要有毛巾有叉子，他们就能做事了。
Dockside work methods varied according to cargo type.
较早前时拢线针较济，拢原料较济，像讲肥料啦、控刷啦、拖团啦，有咱玉米啦。
一般谷类都是散装进口，散装进口卸到码头上，然后在我们这边的码头工人再去打包，再重新打包。你要说以前都是用布袋包，跟糖一样用布袋包。 它打包以后，然后经过红线，也有女工去红线，红完了以后过磅，过磅以后，然后再入库，然后再出库装车这样子。
Dock workers' loads were counted by tally clerks using bamboo sticks.
当初经常是用那个这个竹签了，这个如果是一个人扛一包一包，他就给你个钱，工人就是。 到了厂间的门口的时候，他就把它收下来，到最后，作业告一个段落了，然后他就计数了。
But this manual handling process always carried significant risk.
散装的较容易会受迫害嘛，然后假装你日本来，你增存嘛，咱这边台湾先到过来，伊个要下落来，所以这个容易。 受损害了哈，有这有当破碎还是减去，嘛有可能。所以这个我真无理想，尾也慢慢就发展回归。
As ship tonnage increased, so did capacity. The use of manual labor with basic machinery could no longer keep pace. To improve cargo efficiency, packaging was standardized. This also kept goods out of the rain and kept them neatly in one place. This led to the birth of container shipping. But change didn't happen overnight. No one could predict if container shipping would be a success.
那么那时候初期的做的时候呢，大家每一个人都是在投石问路啊，大家也没有说海关也好啦，哪一部分也好，都对这个东西也不是说很了解啊。
杂货到货柜化不是一句话就成功的，经过好多不同的碰到不同的问题。刚开始的时候也是有一段适应期啦。
To test the waters, shipping operators combined bulk cargo and containers on the same ships. These were called semi-container ships.
杂货船里面装货柜是我第一个做，在甲板上装了20尺的柜，或者在舱里面也有装20尺的柜。那么以前的 semi-container 大部分都有吊杆的，吊杆能力能够吊，所以 semi-container 初期是这样子的，让人家知道什么叫做货柜。
Gantry cranes were not yet widely used. Cranes were installed on ships' decks to create container ships with their own gear and improve handling efficiency. Straddle carriers supported dock operations, making it easier to adjust container position. Shipping operators and cargo owners began to see the advantages of container shipping, leading to widespread industry adoption. Most general cargo is transported in containers, but oversized items need special handling by specialized hoisting companies. Bulk cargo that cannot be containerized is handled according to individual specifications. Coal ships once relied on grab buckets for scoop-by-scoop unloading. Modern systems now use eco-friendly conveyors to move coal straight to storage yards. For grain, suction hoses emerged, which drop into the hold to vacuum the grain up onto conveyors, which then move it to silos. Modern oil and chemical transport flows through sealed pipes directly to storage tanks. This not only enhances handling efficiency, but also reduces marine and air pollution. Throughout the whole process, the cargo remains completely sealed away. Amid growing environmental awareness, Taiwan won eco-certification for all 7 major international commercial ports. In line with global trends, Taiwan has embraced green port initiatives and working towards net zero emissions. Ships slow down when entering port. Container docks use electric equipment. Shore power facilities supply ships with electricity. And automatic gate systems are used to reduce passage times. These measures help cut fuel emissions. All these efforts are aimed at sustainability, leaving a better environment for the next generation. Port operations have evolved from manual work to automation for greater efficiency. The port of Kaohsiung's Container Terminal 7 introduced Taiwan's first remote-controlled gantry cranes. These 16 cranes reach 55.5 meters high, serving ultra-large container vessels. Reflecting on port development from the early days of manual handling to today's automated, unmanned systems, Taiwan's ports have adapted to change, making our maritime industry even more competitive. Taiwan's role as an Asian maritime hub dates back to the 17th century Dutch and Spanish era, serving as a vital trade route between East and West, facilitating exchange of silver, spices, silk and ceramics from East Asia to Europe. During Qing rule, Western powers saw Taiwan's maritime potential and in 1858 forced the Qing court to sign the Treaty of Tianjin, which opened up the ports of Danshui, Keelung, Anping, and Takao for trade, with the first customs office in Danshui. On December 14, 1873, the China Merchants Steam Navigation Company was launched, the first shipping company in China. During the Japanese colonial period, government subsidies supported maritime development and the planning of routes to make Taiwan a hub for long-distance shipping. In May 1896, Osaka Shosen Keisha received colonial government orders to start routes linking Taiwan with Japan. Nippon Yusen Keisha later also joined, and together they ran the Keelung to Kobe route. After the Japanese left Taiwan in 1945, the nationalist government promptly set up the Keelung and Kaohsiung port authorities to restructure the maritime industry. The original Keelung branch of NYK was taken over by China Merchants, becoming its Keelung branch. In 1972, to separate Taiwan's operations from China's, the government founded Yangming Marine Transport. This building now hosts the Yangming Marine Cultural and Art Museum.
招商局跟阳明海运其实是同一家公司的那这个演变的过程。我想从历史上来讲，这个追溯到满清，这个1872年，当初这个李鸿章上这个奏折给慈禧太后，说要成立这个招商局，我想这个对公司的成立是蛮具有历史意义的啦，因为在那个年代，你要成立一个国家级的这个海运公司，我想这是一个创举啦。
Today's maritime sector can be divided into 6 major industries, one of which is shipping. During the 1970s economic boom, demand for container shipping surged. spurring growth alongside national development, leading to Taiwan's Big Three carriers. Among the world's top 20 container carriers, Taiwan has 3, holding around 10% of global capacity. In 2022, Taiwan ranked 8th globally in container and bulk carrier tonnage.
以前在招商局的时代，其实那时候可能根本还没有货柜。后来开始这个标准货柜化之后，阳明海运也开始往这个远洋的业务来发展。
70年代呢，货柜航运这件事情才刚发生，所以我们在1975年用新建的第一艘货柜船 Everspring 长春轮来投入这个所谓的远东到美国东岸的定期航线，这是台湾第一条全货柜定期航线。
早期台湾的经济呢发展呢是以外销为导向，在亚洲4小龙的经济成长的时候呢，我们伴随这些不管是国家或是区域的一个发展，那才让自己的规模能够顺势而为的扩展。
This progress spurred growth not just in containers but also in domestic infrastructure, demanding large volumes of steel and cement. This demand boosted shipping firms focused on raw materials, which grew alongside Taiwan's expansion.
那移民开始嘛，主要建立就是因为要配合国家的一些基础建设，水泥当然也是基础建设的一个重要这个材料。当时候自己亚洲水泥也有一些进口的煤炭，那还有铁矿砂，就是为了要满足这些基础建设的原物料进口的这些需求。
中钢公司民国60年成立。那民国64年建厂完成就开始生产。那生产之前一定要准备这些炼钢炼铁的原料煤矿、铁矿、石灰石，那这些都要从国外进口。所以在民国85年就成立了中运公司，主要的目的就是要来做好这些原料跟产品的一些相关的一个运输海运作业。
Ships unload their containers at port. Owners can collect cargo straight from the docks or pick it up later, after it has been processed at a depot. At the port of Keelung, the narrow port area is surrounded by mountains, so inland distribution centers were set up nearby to handle containers going to nearby inland distribution points. These centers are mostly around Suji, Rufeng, and Chidu. By contrast, the ports of Kaohsiung, Taichung, and Taipei have larger hinterlands behind the docks, providing ample space within the port area for container depot operators to conduct container and cargo handling. These are known as port container terminals. Cargo handling was carried out by the dockworkers union. Over time, this evolved into dock labor, managed by private stevedoring companies, which led to the rise of the ship cargo handling industry.
码头工会的工人呢，因为它是向港务局去包的嘛，这个工会的力量很大。那你假使因为码头工人的代工，这样子的话，长期以来我们船公司当然受不了，直接间接的向我们中央去反映。那么多年以后呢，才有在87年1月1号。 才把这个东西开放成民营的。
During the cargo handling process, operators are responsible for counting the cargo, overseeing its delivery and receipt, and monitoring cargo holds during operations.
在美国 LA 就是洛杉矶装货的时候呢，那么那个有理货的公司啊，理货就是他里面啊，他就有做一个所谓的船图。 船舱图啊，我们英文叫 storage plan。那回到我们高雄的时候呢，我们代理行就提供所谓的 storage plan 给什么？给码头装卸的工人领班，给我们这边也有他理啊，也有理货，要点数，那个理货要点数的，这个我100件就是100件，或是那么有过磅的另外过磅。
Once a vessel has arrived in port, matters relating to the ship fall to the appointed shipping agent. They handle all required port procedures, managing crew, vessel care, and maintenance. Freight forwarders primarily assist importers and exporters to negotiate for shipping space and consolidate goods from different sources for transport to various locations worldwide. These 6 major industries power Taiwan's maritime industry, and their seamless collaboration connects Taiwan to global trade routes. All shipping relies on navigational safety. When a ship approaches port, a pilot boards from a smaller boat to guide it through open waters and steer it safely into the channel. Tugboats then take over to help the large vessel to dock. When technology was less advanced and there were fewer ships, maritime safety depended on the captain's experience and lighthouses. Today, the seas are teeming with traffic, so a smart navigation safety information platform system is used to monitor the safety of vessels navigating Taiwan's waters. The 36 lighthouses currently managed by the Maritime and Port Bureau not only aid in navigation, but also carry significant historical meaning and value. Visitors capture more than photos but also enjoy ocean breezes and watch vessels dock in thriving ports. To adapt to global maritime changes and enhance Taiwan's maritime sector and ports. In terms of overall competitiveness and management efficiency, in 2012, the Ministry of Transportation and Communications restructured the port governance system, consolidating the 4 port authorities as the Maritime and Port Bureau and Taiwan International Ports Corporation.
以前港务局是 A 加 V 啊 ，A 就是 authority 啊 ，V 是 business 啊 ，A 加 V。后来把 A 变成航港局 ，V 变成港务公司，又把台湾4个港弄成一个，是这样叫整齐分离，可以对内协调分工，对外统合竞争。
Ports are living entities. The life cycle of a port evolves with its economic functions, always taking on new forms. Taiwan's ports will stay true to the goals of people-centered ports, convenient ocean transport, a high-quality environment, and sustainable shipping. In response to global trends, they will also develop a range of areas, such as offshore wind power, cruises, and waterfront tourism, and offer sustainable smart technologies. With their brand new looks, Taiwan's ports will give us gateways to the world and bring a better quality of life.